there. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me here tonight. We are going to use up some scraps. They are starting to drive me a little crazy. We have just little guys all over the place. I have a bucket full of them. I need to start addressing some of these things, so that's what we're going to be working on for this week really. So thanks for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can just relax and craft together. I typically work on projects from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole process along the way. Thanks for coming over and chatting here with me tonight. So you guys, it is typically we have a set schedule. Every full week of the month we're working on a different project, but this is one of those weird weeks where it's half in September and half in October, so it's kind of a freebie week. And I've been cleaning up the house a little bit lately, and I have so many containers of fabric scraps, and it's starting to be super clutter in my brain, and I need to start taking care of it. So I thought we'd play around with some scraps. I have a few different types. Here's just a cool giant jar that has kind of more like these long stringy ones. So I thought I already started this, but I thought I'd do some pom-poms with the scraps. I want to use this whole thing up. By the end of the night, I want this glass jar gone. We can use it for food or anything else then. So that would be a better use of it right now, because it's been like this for years and I can't deal with it anymore. I need it gone. So we'll do that. But also this week, I do want to work on my quilt here that we are making out of leaders and enders. So I got about 9 of these squares, and this is all from shirts and blankets, but I need to cut more. So here's my bin. This is typically what I use for my leaders and enders when I'm on the sewing machine. So if I'm sewing a different project to finish the row off, I will just sew one of these blocks. But I'm out. I have a few more light colored ones cut, and I don't have any more dark colors. I usually put a light color with a dark color. So I need to fill this basket again with cuts from old clothes. So I'll get that out, and it'd be fun to prep some of the pieces. So I have a whole pile of half square triangles that just need to be trimmed, and then a whole pile of our pieces that we need to cut, press, and trim. So we'll work on that a little bit. The other thing I like doing with scraps that I want to do this week as well is some improv piecing. So another bin here. This is like an old charcoal bin or something, but I have it filled with random fabrics, and I have been just sewing them together randomly. Now this is going to look crazy, but just randomly into like these improv pieced just shenanigans here. So I have several just little pieces of it. These are using the smallest of pieces, but it is all just scrap fabric, and I am just gradually sewing all of these together, and I thought we could do a little bit of that. So if you wanted to figure out how to sew just small pieces together, we're going to work on that this week as well. But tonight, for a quick win, I'm going to empty this jug of the fabric scraps. It just needs to be done. So, all right, thank you guys for joining me here again. I'm just going to read through some of your comments here. Let's flip over here. All right. Valerie says, you haven't seen scraps until you see mine. That's the deal. So I found when I was cleaning, well, first of all, I'm completely out of these, which is annoying me. I've had to use like a normal leader. So here's the state of the state on that. I have this many ready to go. This is where we sewed on either side of the diagonal. So we can get a half square triangle out of it, right, like that. So when we cut down the diagonal, we'll actually have 2 half square triangles. We'll have one on this side, and we'll have one on this side of the diagonal. So these are all ready to be cut in half and then pressed. And then I have all of these, which have already been cut in half and pressed. So these are all pressed. So here we go. Here's a half square triangle for us. But these have not been trimmed down. So these all need to be trimmed. There's no way we're going to get all this done this week. This is a massive amount of trimming, and this is a massive amount of pressing. So we won't finish all that. At worst, I want to get more fabric in here because I can't make any more of these leaders until this is done. Now these are the ones that we have pressed and trimmed. So these ones are ready to be sewn into more blocks. So as I'm finishing these, I'm just sewing them in like groups of 25. I randomly picked that number. It seemed like a good size. They're about 10-inch squares. So I have 9 of these. I would love to sew one more of these at least. And then here, this is like all the levels of this project. Here I have, I don't know, the rest of this blanket I think this came from, so we'll cut up more of this. There's not actually much left. And here's a whole pile of random shirts. You know, at some point I cut all the buttons off and everything. I actually have a couple more shirts that I could cut up, so maybe we'll do that too. And we can add to this, not that it needs adding to, but I need to cut more squares from at least these darks. So that's the status of this project. Again, another project that it's like, I need to move this along. All these scraps need to get made. But like I said, at worst, let's fill this up with some more scraps. And then this becomes a usable project again. I can use the leaders. So now this guy, just to share again, this is where, this has just been sitting around too. It's a plastic bag just filled with just nothings, right? I mean, these are kind of cute. Look at all these. I don't know where this stuff came from. Every once in a while I'll remember a project. Like I think this came from the I Love Home quilt. That's a pretty good size piece. So we'll just improv piece some of this stuff together. I mean, I'm already kind of wanting to do it. So ultimately, I am just kind of sewing these together. But remember when I talked about wanting to make a quilt where I just try that bleach method? So I do want to, eventually I was thinking, since this is so garish, I mean, this is just so much crazy right here. I thought this quilt, you know, presuming it'll at some point be a quilt, this could be the quilt that I like over dye. I could over dye it with like even like a pink or a blue, or I could try that bleach method, but I think that's gonna bring all the colors. You're gonna still see patterns and stuff in it, but I think it'll like wash over all the colors so that it all looks more the same and less completely garish. I suppose that's an opinion, but it's pretty garish. I'm not paying any attention to what color is going next to another color. I am literally just sewing like-size pieces together. So this would be fun to make really big and then dye it at some point. But right now it is a huge bin that is driving me crazy. I would love to see you guys, some of your scraps. I'm sure you guys have some scraps too. Oh, Valerie's saying I can use the tiny pieces to make dog bags for donations. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you like the lemon block. All right, I'm going to scooch down here a little bit. So I thought tonight, like I said, I have this other little jar here. Hold on a second. Let's scooch a little over. All right, I have this little guy filled with mostly these strings. So this one came from the lemon block, and that's what made me think of this. So I thought I'd just keep my, this is my pom-pom maker. I thought I'd just keep that by me. And as I get scraps that look like this, I thought I would just wind them on. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So I thought we could start with this tonight. I am just wrapping these scraps around this piece. I know I'm going to have like a lot of little fuzzles like this, but that's fine. All right. Hello, everyone. Oh, Lucy says she's using up selvages like a strip block. Ooh, see, that's cool. It's amazing how, oh, Sue says, I love how you repurpose everything. Oh man, when it's starting to cause like it's like making me a little anxious, I suppose, at this point. Um, Looking at all of these scraps everywhere. So at this point, uh, I need to start using them up. So even to empty this jar is going to be like such a lighter feeling for me today. Oh, thanks so much, Valerie. Thanks for the tip there. That's really sweet of you. All right, you guys. Let's open this guy up. This is a kind of a fun container. You know what? I'm going to pull this whole thing out. We're going to just deal with the mess right here. And some of this might actually be garbage. I don't know. We'll see. Oh my god. What a silly mess. Okay. So some of these, I mean, a lot of these are strips. So like these sort of things I'm going to put in here. Oh, thanks, Valerie. These strips I'm going to put in this, but I mean, you know, these little guys, I think we can call it a day on these. So I am going to end up with some garbage here, and at this point it's a little bit like good riddance. So now my body is not wanting to throw like a piece this size away, because this I know I can sew to another piece in that other bucket. So I guess I'm gonna keep some of these rando pieces. Now this is long enough that I can probably loop on here. Same with this. So I'm just kind of looping it on so that it'll end up being kind of upright when I cut. Ugh, this feels awesome though. I'm gonna work my way through this this bin. So now these pom-poms. These pom-poms I'll use like for gift wrapping or something else. I think pom-poms like this look so good on gifts. Like when you wrap gifts, like if you wrap a gift in like normal, like that brown craft paper or like a, you know, like a brown paper bag, and then you wrap some yarn and then one of these pom-poms on top, it looks so good. I think as we get closer to the holidays, I might do like a little video on how to decorate a present using these pom-poms and adding some extra things to it. I think that'd be fun. Luann, I'm gonna be making these pom-poms tonight. Because I just want to use up all this stuff tonight. But we are going to be, this week, I'm going to continue working on scraps this week. And I do want to, we're going to do some improv piecing, and then we're going to work on that, my leader and ender quilt as well. So it's all about the scraps. I feel like I'm in spring cleaning mode in my brain still, and I'm really... Maybe that's just coronavirus feeling. Just wanted it cleaned up, all the stuff at home, and that could be too. It's some fall cleaning. Let's get a longer piece here. No, these are all that long, I suppose. Oh, here's a nice long piece. I have like so many little ends here that I need something else to hold it all in. So here's a really long piece. But yeah, so when I was cleaning up, saw all these scraps, just different bins of scraps. So I'm basically combining them. I'm going to use up this bin and then try and combine some of the other bins of scraps. And this is definitely not all. I have 2 that I know of more bags of scraps like this. And that's just that I know of offhand. I'm sure if I started opening up bins in the basement, I'd be finding a whole lot more. So it's either all just gotta go, or I gotta start doing stuff like this more often. Oh, cool, Michelle. So Michelle says that she's anxious to see what the fabric pom-pom will look like and how to use them. Yeah, this one's gonna be cute. So I'm probably wrapping it up here. Let's get another long piece, and then we can make this one. All right, now here's a little scrap. That one's gonna go. I'm calling it. Here's a little scrap. That one's falling apart. All right, let's get this big green fuzzle. This might get us far. This looks like quite a bit on here. A length of the fabric piece. This is like a whole piece of selvage. Look how fuzzy it is, though. It's fun. Yeah, this will get us the rest of the way on this one for sure, I'm thinking. The thicker you make it, the more poofy it's going to be later. All right, so here's our pile of crazy. Let's see, do I need to put any more on this side? Nah. With these fat threaded things like, yarn or this fabric, I kind of try and go so I'm almost like parallel to the bottom there on both sides, so we're fine. All right, next up, I'm going to be sneezing by the end of this too because there's so much fuzz. Oh, this already feels like I'm getting rid of stuff though. Okay, so I'm going to grab my sharpest scissors. This is my favorite scissors. It is that Kai professional level dressmaker scissors. This is going to work great. So there is going to be a little guide. See how this is kind of separate there? We're going to cut down the center of all these, and I might have to just kind of stab my scissors in there to just get started. You're going to want the sharpest... Oh my god, that just flung at my face. I'm going to have to scrap fabric all over when I'm done here. But you're going to want to use the sharpest scissors you can. If you can't cut through all the way, just cut some of the top layers first. Even with this scissors, that was kind of difficult. So just keep digging down into it until you can get all the way down in there. And we're cutting all the way through. So you should be able to see this whole channel, that whole green channel. There shouldn't be anything crossing over anymore. So, all right, we're going to do the other side. We're already getting little garbage pieces. That makes me happy. Ooh, yeah, too thick. I'm going to have to cut it in bits again. So I'm using that medium size, kind of the large size. This is from that large and extra large pack. So I do have these ball winders back in the shop. They were gone for a while, but I'm using the large, and it's from that large and extra large collection. So all right, we got both sides trimmed. Next part, we have to put that thread on the inside. So now typically I would use something that I'm already, the same yarn that I'm making the pom-pom with, but this is all kind of delicate. If I take one of these skinny threads and pull on it really tight, I think it's going to break, and so I want to use something just a little more delicate to hold this together. I think I'm going to use up more scraps, and here's my other ball winders. These are the 4 different sizes here, but I think I'm going to just use some scrap embroidery floss here. Maybe some of this white. Let's just pull this whole thing. Oh man, what a crazy knot. Okay, that's fine. More scraps. Scraps everywhere. Do you guys get like that sometimes, where you can't deal with it anymore? And you have to use the scraps up? I think I'm going to cut this in half and use 2. I can allow unfinished projects to go for a certain amount of time, and then they just have to get done. All right, so I'm going to place this right in that channel here, and I'm going to actually pull it all the way through to this other side. So if I just kind of make these equal, there we go, and you can watch me pull it through. I'm yanking it all the way, so it's basically at the center now. And we're going to tie it in a knot as tight as I can. It's a little difficult doing this. Yeah, this cotton embroidery floss is a lot stronger than the fabric all cut up. I'm just going to go around twice here. Pull again, and we should be good to go. So next up, this is going to make a huge mess, so I'm going to make a mess area here. All right, we are going to pop these open. So it has those two little bits that we wound fabric on. Now the fabric's holding because of that knot we just tied. And let's open up this other side too. There we are. Okay, so now we have to just pull, we have this side and we have this side. We just have to pull those two sides apart. It looks like we broke the thing, but that's actually what's supposed to happen. Then we can put them back together. All right, let's see what we got. So I'm going to just grab it by the string that we did. And we're going to just toss it around, and the fabric's going to go flinging everywhere, I suspect, at this point. Because we had a lot of, we had a lot of edges that didn't go quite all the way around, so now we're going to see some of that stuff. All right. It's so cute. So now this is the point where we start shaping this. I can already tell that it's pretty bloopy on the sides here, and I want it more round. But look at this fun little light shape, and then we got these dark shapes in it. So I'm going to just come back with that scissors, and we're just going to start shaping it. So all of this is going to go in the garbage pile. I'm declaring that some of these scraps do have to end up being garbage. And it's going to be these little bits. So I'm actually just kind of carving it. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as I go, and I am trying to make it roundish. Here's a bunch kind of sticking out. And you can be as refined as you want with this, or you can just leave it a little more odd and fluffy. Ooh, that's already looking better though. It's so silly. This is just scraps. This is going to be the best little topper for something. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So there we are. This is our first little fabric pom-pom. Looking kind of awesome. So let me see. I don't really have any gift-like thing here, but if you imagine this is a present and you wrap it around, so now you can trim this off, but you could actually tie it onto another piece of scrap if you want. So if I was wrapping this, I could just tie this white piece onto, the rest of my wrapping, and it's just going to look adorable. Put a little sprig of, or put some leaves in here or something else, make this cute little boutonniere type looking thing. So until the holidays, I'm going to just keep making these and collecting them and having them around just to put on stuff. This would be great as garland. I could put these all together. Or we also talked about, you guys, let me grab an embroidery hoop, that this would be so cute as a wreath. So you could take an embroidery hoop just like this. And when it gets closer to the holidays, I think we're going to actually make one of these. But you could tie it around, and just tie it back there, maybe hot glue it too. But there we go. We could put a whole pile of these on and make a little pom-pom wreath. We could put a little felt bird in or something. I don't know. There's potential here for sure. I think it's just a really fun use of scrap fabric, making these little pom-poms. So I'm going to do another one. Like I said, I want to kind of use up some of this. Not some. I want to use up all of my little scraps here. So I'm going to stop putzing with this one. It can hang out right here. I think it turned out just cute. And so, mine's all different colors. I have this really dark area and light here. I could just, go in here and pick the blues and whites and see what I get. And it might actually end up like that a little bit. So let's do it again. So these are back together. They like to turn and twist. You just have to put so you can grab the two arches, put those together again. You'll have the two on this side and the two on this side. So let's just start wrapping around this. Ooh, these are nice and long. Good. I want to make at least one more of these tonight. Oh, Cheryl says, wow, I love this. Oh, for sure. Valerie says maybe I can make one of these on a scrunchie for your daughter, that would be adorable. Michelle says she loves it. Ugh, it's just so fun. Yeah, there's a million ways to make pom-poms. I mean, you can just make it with cardboard. I mean, you can make it by wrapping around, fabric on your fingers. That's how I used to make them when I was little. But I do like these clover makers. They're just fun. They're fun colors, and it just makes it easy, I think. There we go. Look at this fun, long, itty-bitty piece. So some of this is looking familiar. I think, oh, actually, I think this blue, do we think this is from the Granny Square quilt? I might have had, nah, I don't think I put any scraps from the Granny Square quilt into here. This might be from the Charming Chevrons, because we got some of these other, like, pinks, although I don't know, this is looking awfully close to our Granny Square quilt. I suppose we did work on that a long time ago to start it, so I think these long ones are from the Granny Square quilt. These colors feel a little too familiar. All right, I don't actually have to start at the end. I can start anywhere on this, really, I think. So I just grabbed it from the middle and start wrapping. There we go. All right, these guys are out. Lenore says the teal looks like from the Granny Square. Yeah, just how I'm grabbing these colors and I'm grabbing them just they were sitting on top of each other. It all feels awfully Granny Square quilty, so I think it is. Maybe I'll just grab all the Granny Square looking ones. All right, so now here's a bunch of little fuzzles. I think these might be, if it wasn't a selvage with the fuzz, I think we could have put them in our improv piecing thing, but these would be a little difficult. So I'm going to just toss all those. Toss in the little selvage fuzzles. Bye, guys. All right, here's some blue. I am just grabbing wherever and starting to twist. Ooh, this one's gonna be so cute. I am just kind of grabbing from those blues and the Granny Square colors. We'll have to keep this one with the Granny Square somehow, maybe. Ugh. Well, throwaway pile's getting a little bit bigger. I'm liking that. Oh, Cecilia says, if I'm not sewing or cutting fabric, I'm crocheting or sleeping. That sounds like a pretty dang good life. I approve. I like it. All right, more of these fuzzles, more of these little bits. I think these little guys I'll keep. All right, I don't think this is from the Granny Square, but we're using it anyway. I have this little spark of red in here. That's kind of fun. All right, we'll keep you. So I thought this was a lot of just those long selvages, but clearly there's a lot more in here. It's not all the selvages. There's some like decent pieces. Oh, look at this. This is like a sewn together piece. That's kind of funny. Let's put that in here. Then I think we'll be done with this side. It's looking pretty bulky. All right, I gotta make sure that I'm getting them on the edges too, not just in the middle. Yeah, you know what? I think this needs more. I've just been kind of winding it around in the middle, but like there's not much here. All right, we'll put this guy here. This is another sewn together piece. Oh, it's falling apart. All right, I can't hold you together anymore, so you're gonna go in place. Let's do this side. So back here, there's got to be, yeah, here's more long little pieces. It would look cute. Nolene saying the fuzz selvage would look cute if you just sew them together with the selvage out. That would be kind of cute. Have all these little, like a furry fabric. Okay, let's make sure we get the sides this time. Maybe when I'm done with this one, we'll just kind of sort through this fabric and see what's an actual windable piece and which is just nothing anymore. But again, I will have emptied that glass jar of this, and I'm not going to use that glass jar for scraps anymore. I'm just going to use my scraps faster, or I don't know. But like I said, I have at least more bags that I know of around the house that have little bitty scraps in like this too. And yeah, we've been cleaning lately, and it's just getting ridiculous. All the little different bins of scraps, so time to start using it up. And actually, making little things like this is perfect for this time of year, like getting ready for holiday stuff. Although it is kind of like giving other people your garbage. That's fine. Oh, what are the plans for the small scraps I'm setting aside? So I have a whole other bin. I shared that at the beginning here. I'll show it to you guys when we're done too. But it's full of just little scraps like that, and I've been sewing them together. I've been improv piecing them together into a larger and larger and larger piece of fabric. So ultimately, that will be a quilt. It's getting there. It's going to be a quilt someday, I can tell. But it is starting with just little pieces like that I keep sewing to each other, and the pieces get bigger and bigger, and then it's actually something. So basically how I improv pieced that I Love Home quilt, we've been recently kind of working on that. I'm just basically doing that same thing. Ooh, look how fuzzy these are. All right, I think we need a little bit more. How about this big gray piece? Yep, I'm gonna sneeze anytime. All right, there we are. Ooh, get that stuffed in there. I wonder if that's bigger than this side. I think I'll put one more on here. Ugh, this one's exploding. I shouldn't have done that. Guess that's why I closed this in the first place, right? Here, I'm gonna, how about, nah, that's too big. I'm gonna wrap this piece around it. Maybe it'll hold all this stuff in here a little bit. All these scraps are gonna go flying when I cut this. All right, now let's close it up. All right, let's get our scissors again. We're gonna just trim through. We'll trim through all these layers again. And again, I might have to go little bit by little bit. It feels it's tough even with this nice scissors. Woo, there. It's tough to get through this many layers of fabric. Much easier when it's just yarn or embroidery floss. Night, Cecilia. All right, did I get it all cut? Yep, all right, so let's do the other side. Let's start from this side. Too difficult. Less layers. Alright, I think we got it. Yep. Let's give a little shake already. All right. Now let's get that yarn, the thread through the middle. Is the gray from the, yeah, so this gray is from the Aurifil block. So yeah, it must have come from the first Aurifil block. So I must have had this bin, this glass jar around somewhere to have put the granny square stuff in. I thought it was just, it was upstairs forever. Maybe I had it down here and I recently brought it up there. I don't know. A lot of this is feeling more familiar than I thought it would. All right. We've tied it again with that embroidery floss just because it's going to be stronger than any of these fabric scraps. All right, let's pop it open. Oh, look how pretty. All right, let's pop it. Ooh, there. Oh, it's pretty. All right, so again, give it a little shake. Ah, flying off. This just gets it floofy and all those extra bits that didn't quite make it all the way around. We can get rid of. Yep. The fuzzles are flying. Okay, now this one's oddly shaped. Like it's got a bunch extra there, so this one will for sure trim. I mean, you can leave it like that, but I'd prefer it a bit more rounded. So I'm just kind of holding it at that knot, just because it's an easy place to hold it. Right here. And you could actually just keep trimming this down and make it, you know, a smaller size if you want. The more you trim this, the more dense it's going to get, which is kind of a neat look too. I haven't tried that really with fabric, but with the yarn and everything, it gets like really, really solid. It's kind of fun. This one definitely looks like my granny square quilt though, for sure. It's the colors. I think that's looking pretty good. All right. I like it. What a fun color. So let's just look at both. I think they're just so different color-wise. So yeah, so even with scraps, you can kind of, like this one looks more rustic-y, like more like that primitive sort of style for sure. And then this is just got a little bit of pop to it. So you can get different looks even with the same materials, just blending different colors together. So different people might want, if you're doing these for gifts, different people might want different looks. And if you got tons of scraps laying around, which I'm sure you probably do, then you can adjust colors and stuff like group colors. All right, I'm gonna just do a quick dig through here. Let's just separate what's garbage, what's good to sew. So like these I can sew together yet. Those look good. Those are big enough. So the big enough to sew together, we're gonna put over here. These little salvages that I can't do much yet, we'll add them to our junk pile. All these guys can go. Wow, so many fuzzles. And then let's just separate all these long ones, the salvage type things. Then maybe we'll have enough for one more in here, hopefully. Ooh, look at those. I can't tell you how good this feels, though, to finally be basically getting rid of a bin. Getting rid of a container that was holding something that it didn't need to hold anymore. I might split these in half right away, because if I'm not sure if there's enough of this for a whole one. I mean, there might be tons, but I'll separate them in half so I can at least have one on one side and one on the other. This is actually probably big enough to sew. Cute little pieces. Sure, those can wrap around, I think. Oh, here we go. So now some of these purples are from the Charming Chevron quilt for sure. I definitely recognize those. This is that red that we used in the Charming Chevrons. Then I don't know where some of this came from. Wow, I just was tossing anything in here, it looks like. Alright, these are big enough to sew. As I'm going through this, I'm like, I'm just going through garbage. All this could just be tossed, really. And I'll toss a whole lot of it. Yeah, sure. He's big enough. Garbage, 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 garbage. So thanks for hanging out with me again this week, you guys. I know this isn't our normal thing again, but it feels good to be using up some of this stuff. It also means this is the last little bit for the embroidery of the month too. So if you wanted that pumpkin and bat embroidery of the month, that will be wrapping up this week, midweek. Alright, this is a whole pile of just baby fuzzles, but I suppose we'll try wrapping it around. Whew. Getting there. Good chunk of garbage here, though. That's making me feel good. I suppose this is the first step of the process for going through scraps or anything, is kind of just organizing it. That's a pretty piece. Look at, see, that this is like reminiscing, like that Charming Chevrons quilt. We used some really beautiful fabric for that. That's a good combo right there. These guys can be done. These are big enough. I don't know if my mom's watching tonight, but I feel like she'd kind of give me an eye roll for having kept these pieces and like now going through them and doing stuff with them. I'll get a couple cute pom-poms out of it. Alright, I think these are basically done. Alright, calling it. This is the garbage pile. Alright, I'm just going to actually scooch it all the way to the side. Here. Here is my keep pile, so not as much as I thought was in there to keep. So I'm going to put these in that bigger scrap bin that we're going to deal with later in the week. So just going to plop that on the top. This is where we're doing that improv piecing. So we will do that this week, where we just start sewing small bits together. And this will all be another pom-pom here. So I think I am going to divide it in half. Well, let's get some big ones and small ones on both sides. All right. Let's see how this does for like one side and the other side. It might be too much, I don't know. Or too little, we'll see. If it's too little, I mean, that's just what it's going to be made out of, is whatever's here. Oh, I am. So, Valeria is asking if I'm bringing the embroidery scissors back. So, we were just talking to the place that we're getting them manufactured at, and we are ordering them, so they might take a little time to get here. I'll be putting some other embroidery scissors in the shop in the meantime because we just sold out of all of our embroidery scissors. So I will have some in the interim coming up that aren't mine, but they'll be available at least if you need a scissors. And then we are getting some more made, and we're getting some different ones made, and we're getting some stork ones made still, but also like that new style that I'm kind of liking, and some other fun things. So that will be coming up. Might be a little while yet for those, but we are working on them, yes. For sure. This is kind of hard when there's so many small little pieces. Yep, Lenore, we'll be working on the Granny Square block the first full week of the month. So our normal schedule I do on the full weeks. So this is kind of an odd week where it's half in September and half in November, half in October. So this particular week is kind of like a waiting for the full week. So next week we'll be working on the Granny Square quilt all week. And usually we don't have 5 days for the Granny Square quilt, we just have 4 because it's usually finished at Friday as well during that week. But this week will be finished at Friday as well, which we're kind of doing the whole week of that really. All right, I have a ton here yet. I'm wondering if I should still try and get it all on here. You know what? I think I'm going to just throw away what doesn't fit on here. So, oh, this is from this first splendid sampler, this one. So I'm going to just, let's finish, well, I can fit a little bit more on this side, it feels like. But I'm not going to put these in another bin, these little strings. They're not going to be saved. So whatever I don't use here is going to go in the garbage, I think. All right, I think that's all I can get here. Let's do this side. I'll start pulling from here. There might not be as much on this side, so I might still need some of this. Oh, you want the long nose one that I've been using, Cheryl? Yep, I will be getting some of those for sure. I actually found another fun little tool that they have. I think I talked about this already. For pulling needles through fabric, if you're doing some hand stitching and you really need help pulling a needle through the fabric, we're getting some samples of those. Oh wow, this is adding a lot to this right away. I might have enough for, geez, this whole thing is going to be this. I might have enough for another, I can make a smaller pom-pom maybe. I might have enough for a smaller pom-pom. Could make one of the, different size one. We could do that. Because this is getting used up quick. Yeah, we'll definitely have enough for another one. And I'm going to stay till I have that one done because I am not leaving with any of these left. I need to feel like I've cleaned something in the house. And it is these scraps from that silly little bin. Okay, calling it. You know what? I think while these are all here, let's grab that smaller one. Ooh, this is really small, isn't it, though? I don't think I could get much on here. You know what? I'm going to try and fill up another one of these. I do have another medium one here. Or do we think that's maybe... I'm going to try a little small baby one. Why not? Let's do this size. I'll start with these ones that are long enough. So we'll have an itty bitty one here too. That'll be fun. Oh, Debbie, email me at info@penguinandfish.com and I will look it up and get it to you. I'll look up your order and get your mandala love project to you again. This is so little. I feel like my hands got huge, but it's because I'm using this smaller piece here. Oh, Carol's saying now I gotta get some of these things. I'm telling you, they are so much fun, and especially when you can quickly use up all these stupid scraps, like these salvagey things or these little guys, and make like something so cool. Like I love how these are turning out. They're fun. I've been using them more and more lately. Alright, let's just wrap one of these purple fellers around, and I think that will hold in the pieces I'm dealing with right now, and this guy can be done. Alright, let's do the other side. That actually used up more than I thought it would. We have this giant piece here. Maybe I'll throw that. I'm going to throw this one in my scraps to do the improv piecing, because we can probably use that a little bit better with that than this. Man, I'm going to have 4 new pom-poms after tonight. That makes me feel good. So I am just going to, like I said, I'm going to keep one of these just like this in my actual scrap bin. And then whenever I get one of these, like little pieces, I'm going to just wrap it around. You know, you can wrap up a little piece, close it up, and then open it up again later when you get another one. And just, that's why I had some already on the thing when I started today, is because I started cleaning up my scraps like that. Just wrapping around and waiting until I find more of these. So it's kind of like how I treat my scissors. I just kind of keep it with the project that I'm working on. So I am just kind of keeping a ball winder, or a pom-pom maker, I mean, with the different projects. Oh, this is a good... Oh, I thought that was longer. Don't have any long ones here. Ugh, I want like a nice long one yet. I don't think there really is one. Here, we'll get this little guy on. I think this is plenty. I don't think I can stuff any more on there. Actually, right over here doesn't feel like there's a whole lot on. Let's just throw one of these purples. That does the job. Let's add this to it. All right, good enough. I'm gonna have a lot of scrap there, but all right, I am retiring all of these as well. There's not much left. That can be junk. I'm okay with that. Look at this is some fuzzles here. Haven't sneezed yet though, so that's good. So this is what's left for garbage. So compared to, we started out with this whole jar. So this is all I have left for garbage. So that makes me happy. So I'm okay just tossing that. It can have another life somewhere else. Okay. Let's finish these up. I'm gonna have to get more embroidery floss too to tie these down with, but I can trim them first. Your scissors will fit into that channel really well, so it's a nice design that way. All right, that guy's done. Getting them fuzzles. All right, let's get this guy right away too. Oh, I'm gonna have to go through lots of layers for sure. We are all cut through, it looks like. Alright, let's grab some of that embroidery floss. Alright, I think we'll get a little up higher, then you can see my little pile here. Alright, so I do need that little bit of floss. This yellow is sitting right here, let's use that. And I'm leaving these kind of long just because my thought is at some point I'll tie it to something, whether it's another piece of thread or another piece of fabric, but, instead of cutting them right down to the edge, I can tie it on to the hoop or tie it on to something else. Ah, see, look, that would be such a cool wreath. All right, let's get this done. Let's do this big one first. To my fuzzles. All right, let's pop it open. Becky's saying she's pretty sure she has some of these already, and if I was them, where would I be? That's the magic question, right? Oh gosh. I just reorganized a bunch of this stuff because we just reorganized the basement a little bit. And so I just rediscovered some of these tools again. There, all these little extra bits are flying off. All right, let's trim him up. He's looking all haggard. Let's get rid of some of those little edges. Round him out a little bit. This is all sorts of different projects coming together. It's kind of fun. A bit poofy down at the bottom here. sides here. All right, I think we'll call it on him. Shimmy these guys out of the way. It's just kind of fun. So here's this one. I like this little splash of green in here. Let's just plop that on our fake wreath. It's looking cute. All right, and then this one needs its thread through the middle. Yeah, it doesn't want to stand on its own. We can go sideways. Like this, I think. Yep. So this one will be quite a bit smaller. Fun to see. I haven't made a fabric one this size. Okay, you're going to have to scooch up. Just so silly. This one definitely needs some shaping. Oop, and the big pieces are flying off of it. Alright. Let's trim him. The little guy is cute too. These would be cute ornaments too, really. Ooh, wouldn't like a whole Christmas tree just filled with these balls? These like poofs and like nothing else, just some poofs and some lights. That would be pretty kind of just kind of neat looking. Like we had a plan and we went with it. That's what it was going to look like. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So here's this little guy. So definitely smaller. So here is it next to the other ones. We can take a look at that in a sec. Let's just move all these guys out of the way. Ugh, okay. I feel accomplished for the night, everyone. let's just, I'm going to lift these all up again. So here are all the little guys. Little and big. This is, if I'm holding it like my hands together, that's the size difference. So that is quite a bit. Quite a bit of a size difference. And, you know, it depends how much I snip it down, too. But it's cool. So, like, if we did a wreath, it could be all different sizes. Like, this guy could be down here, and you could tuck up a small one in there. Then keep going around. I think that would be really kind of fun. All right. Well, we got 4 pom-poms, guys, for some sort of crafting adventure later. But we've transformed that glass jar filled with scraps into something else, and that makes me feel good. Little bouquet. All right, awesome. So thank you, you guys. So here they are, like all, you know, as a dangly, crazy bunch. I think just with the fabric, these pom-poms are just so fun. And, you know, it's still letting fuzzles fly, but that's okay. I think that's going to be the game with these fabric ones. But awesome. I feel good. So tomorrow we will work on, well, we'll either do some improv piecing or we will cut more of the leaders. We got to do all that yet. But yeah, we're going to continue just using up some of these scraps, feeling a little bit like I cleaned up, a little bit like I purged and got rid of something. I need a little bit of that feeling, I think, this week, so that'll be good. So thanks again for hanging out here with me. I appreciate it. We do have those guys in the shop if you were interested in playing around with some of these clover pom-pom makers. And it's going to be the last week, I think just is the new, I can't remember if it's Wednesday or Thursday, which is the last day of the month, but last day of the month, then we will have a new embroidery pattern of the month after that. So awesome. Thanks again, you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Good night.